Alright, and welcome to synthetic division. Now, in example 1, we're going back to a very easy concept. X squared plus 5x plus 6 divided by x plus 2. However, instead of using polynomial division, we're going to use something called synthetic division. Okay, so what is synthetic division? Well, it's a very fast way to multiply these, and let's kind of write out some steps here. Step number 1. Let's find x, and I'll use a little abbreviation here. Let's find x such that our divisor, I don't even know, that's not how you spell the word r. Okay, our divisor is equal to 0. Okay, step number 1. We want to find x such that our divisor is equal to 0. So for example, x plus 2, we set that equal to 0. And what's the opposite of plus 2? Well, minus 2, and we say x is equal to negative 2. Okay, that's step 1. Now what do I do with that? Well, the way that we set this up is we take this negative 2, we put it almost in kind of a reverse long division box, and now step 2 is we're going to write out our coefficients. So let's write this. We'll write our coefficients. Okay. So I see here my coefficient of x squared is 1, so I write 1. My coefficient of 5x is 5. And my coefficient of 6, well, of course it's just 6. Okay. And let's go ahead, and the rest of these steps I'll kind of do intuitively, or over here off to the left. So what is step 1 when using synthetic division? Well, we always drop our first term. So let's say this is going to be our step 3. Step 3, we're going to drop our first term. Okay, we drop our first term. So I drop that 1. And what is step number 4? Okay, and step 4 is we are going to multiply by x. So remember when we said we're going to find our x such that our divisor was equal to 0? Well, we're saying that this x is negative 2, so I'll say that we're multiplying by x. So we're going to do negative 2 times 1. And once I multiply those, I'm going to bring that over here. Negative 2 times 1 is negative 2. Okay, and then our fifth and final step, let me just keep this in red. I'll get right over here. Oh, I guess orange, actually, my bad. Step 5 is that we're now going to add. We're now going to add down. Okay, so what is 5 plus negative 2? Well, that of course would be 3. Okay, let's go back to our step number 4. We are now going to multiply negative 2 times 3. And it goes up here diagonally. So negative 2 times 3 is negative 6. And now we're going back to orange because we're now on to our step 5. We're going to add down. And 6 plus negative 6 is going to be 0. Okay. I guess I'm going to let you write down these steps, but I'm going to actually erase the steps to show you what this problem actually means. Okay, clearing everything away, I want you to notice something. We started out with an x squared, and this will always drop by a degree. So if our first term here is x squared, then our first term here is actually a 1x. And since the 3 is positive, I write plus 3. And wait a second, what are we saying? We're saying that x squared plus 5x plus 6 divided by x plus 2 is actually equal to x plus 3. And we've just used synthetic division. Now let me show you kind of a similar example, but just much faster so you can see the utility of synthetic division. Okay, so watch how fast we can do this. Step number 1, I take my divisor and I set it equal to 0. To get rid of a plus 4, I subtract 4 from both sides, and I get x is equal to negative 4. I now write that negative 4 over here in a box, and I write my coefficients. There's a 1x squared, so I write 1. There's a 6x, so I write 6. And there's an 8, so I write 8. And now once I've done that, and I set this up, I now drop my first term 1. Okay, switching to a different color, we have negative 4 times 1. Here's where we multiply, and negative 4 times 1 gives us negative 4. Okay, and then when we're adding down, 6 minus 4 is going to be 2. And then I go back to my green, and remember, now I do negative 4 times 2. I'm kind of distributing it through each number that we have at the bottom. And negative 4 times 2 is negative 8. And now, switching back, I add down. 8 plus negative 8 is 0. But wait a second, what's this mean? There's no remainder, and if we started out with an x squared, remember we're going to drop by 1 degree, and so this is really just 1x plus 2. Okay, or said another way, x squared plus 6x plus 8 divided by x plus 4 is really just x plus 2. Alright, now we're going to take this up to a cubic polynomial, and I'm going to show you how quickly we can divide a cubic polynomial. Okay, here we have x cubed plus 6x squared plus 8x plus 7 divided by x minus 3. So I set x minus 3 equal to 0 because I want to get the x by itself. I add 3 to both sides, and I see that x is equal to 3. Okay, so I put 3 in my reverse long division box, and I drop my coefficients. There's a 1, a 6, an 8, and a 7. So I write 1, 6, 8, and 7. And I drop my first term, 1. Well, what is 3? Let's use a different color. What is 3 times 1? Well, that's 3. Okay. And what is 6 plus 3? Well, that's 9. Switching back to my green, what is 3 times 9? Well, that's 27. Okay. Switching back to my red, what is 8 plus 27? Well, that's going to be 35. Okay. Now we're getting to some larger numbers. Alright, switching back to my green, what is 3 times 35? Well, that's going to be 105. And switching back to my red, what is 7 plus 105? Well, that's going to be 112. Now you will notice here there is a remainder, so we know that x minus 3 is not a factor, okay? But how do we write this out? Well, we drop a degree, and instead of being x cubed, now we have 1x squared plus 9x plus 35 plus a remainder of 112 over x minus 3. Remember, this divisor, whenever you write the remainder, goes in the denominator. Boom. Think about all your polynomial division and how long it takes to use polynomial division. Think about how quickly we did that. Let's move on to a fourth degree polynomial. Okay, here we have something that would actually take y'all quite some time. We have 5x to the fourth minus 2x squared plus 8x minus 3. Now notice, in order to find x, I have to set x plus 4 equal to 0. I will subtract 4 from both sides, and I get x that we want to use is equal to negative 4. Alright, so we'll write negative 4 in our reverse long division box, and I'll write my coefficients. 5. Wait a second, I notice that x to the fourth drops down to x squared, so there's actually a 0x cubed. Well, I still have to use my 0 as a placeholder. Okay, minus 2, 8, and negative 3. Okay, and using our nice orange, let's just go ahead and drop this down. Now I have 5, and when I multiply these, remember, this x value will always multiply by these things here down below our line. Negative 4 times 5 is negative 20. Okay, and so now when I go to add this, 0 minus 20 is negative 20. Alright, well, switching back to the purple, I know when I do negative 4 times negative 20, I'm going to get positive 80. Okay, and let's see, what is negative 2 plus 80? Well, that's 78. And here, we're going to need a calculator, and that's okay. We have negative 4 times 78, which will be negative 312, and whenever I add that 8, oh, my bad guys, I did this in the wrong color. Negative 312, still the wrong color, it's okay. And then we'll have negative 304, and now guys, switching back to my purple, now we have negative 4 times negative 304, and we're going to have positive 1,216. And whenever I add that with my negative 3, I see it will become 1,215. Now, what is this actually? Well, if we start out with x to the 4, we have to drop down a degree. 5x cubed minus 20x squared plus 78x minus 304 plus 1,215, all divided by x plus 4. We have just taken a very complicated problem and we've made it incredibly easy. Alright, y'all. I would pause this. I would finish taking notes. I know that for students, the first time you see this, this is so strange. I'm going to give y'all one more example if you're still confused. Okay. Now, guys, this one is going to be a little bit trickier because I want to push some students here. But notice, we're going to do 3x cubed plus 2x minus 4 divided by 2x plus 1. Now, remember, we always want to set this equal to 0, and we want to solve for x. We want to know what value of x makes this factor equal to 0. Well, I subtract 1 from both sides, and now I have 2x is equal to 0 minus 1, which is negative 1, and I divide both sides by 2. And we say, okay, well, x is equal to negative 1 over 2. All right, and now I write my coefficients. I see that I have a 3. I see that there's no x squared value, so I put a 0. And now I have 2 minus 4. And I drop my line. All right, well, I always drop my first term, my 3. And now we have negative 1 over 2 times 3, which will become negative 3 over 2. And if you're confused about how I did that, remember, this is really like saying 3 over, like negative 1 over 2 times 3 over 1. Well, negative 1 times 3 is negative 3 over 2 times 1 is 2. Okay, what's 0 plus negative 3 over 2? Well, that's just negative 3 over 2. All right, what's negative 1 over 2 times negative 3 over 2? Well, a negative times negative is a positive, and 1 times 3 is 3 over, and 2 times 2 is 4. Now, I'm going to, in purple, I'm going to write 2 as a fraction. It's really 8 over 4. And guys, if you don't believe me, what's 8 divided by 4? Well, guess what? It's 2. Okay, so what's 8 over 4 plus 3 over 4? Well, that gives us 11 over 4. All right, I do negative 1 over 2 times 11 over 4, and I go ahead and I get negative 11 over 2 times 4, which is 8. Okay, using just, my own rules here, how do I get 4 so that it has a denominator of 8? Well, guys, 4 times what number is 8? I'm sorry, 4 times 8 is what number? 4 times 8 is 32. And if you don't believe me, test it out yourself. Negative 32 divided by 8 will give you negative 4. Alright, so now when I combine these, negative 32 and negative 11, I get negative 43 over 8. And we can now go ahead and write out our new polynomial. Alright, so since we had an x cubed, we'll write 3x squared minus 3 over 2x plus 11 over 4 minus 43 over 8 all over our initial divisor of 2x plus 1. So guys, these were terrible numbers, but look how quickly and easily we were able to use polynomial division even when there were these kind of disgusting numbers. And if it's been a while since we've done fractions, y'all have my apologies. I know that the most recent content has been fairly difficult. Okay. Alright guys, good luck, and I'll see you guys in our next lesson.